Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the webinar for the audit. Thank you everyone who's joining us for taking the time to go over the audit and bring your questions and comments. This is the kind of home screen for the audit. Yours wouldn't have the mobile device on it. It's going to have just the other image on it for webinar. This one's going to look just a little bit different. This one is for the ACOG SWOTA or the COGS kind of, so it's going to look a little bit different, but we're going to show this one just for those who have a little bit different way of doing theirs. But if you have questions, feel free to ask questions. If you haven't done or started your audit, this is what you're going to see when you first get started. It's going to be an introduction, just to kind of give you an introduction of what the audit is. It's going to remind you that audit is due on November 22nd. And if you don't have your audit completed by November 22nd, your name will be brought to the board at the December 4th meeting. No action will be taken at that date at that meeting, but your name of the PSAP will be brought to the authority at that date. First, most of the questions are similar to what was asked last year.
I'm sorry, Stacey, this is Lance. I just want to add a couple more things to that December 4th date. Stacey mentioned there's no action will immediately take place. However, we will be requesting that the 911 Management Authority start the process of escrowing funds. And what that means is that if they approve the process to begin escrow funds on December 4th for those that have not completed the audit forms, then we will send certified mail on December 5th to everyone within your governing body, city council, county commissioners, city manager, etc. Put them on notice that you did not comply with the requirement. And then we will request you to come in during our February meeting for a public hearing and explain to the authority why you did not meet the deadline. At that point, the authority can take action, and that action would be to escrow your 911 funds until you come into compliance. So historically, we have been very lenient, I would say. People ask for extensions, people want to move, and well, I can't get this done. I was on vacation, the week of November 14th, and so I couldn't make it. I'm just fair warning. We will be taking a list of names at the December 4th meeting and requesting to start the process to escrow funds. So please be aware of that. Thank you, Stacey.
Thank you. So in conjunction with that, we will be asking you to sign here. You can sign or type, but sign saying that you do understand that the forms for audit is due November 21st, that you did understand that, and you did understand that those were due. So this is new. This is new this year. In the past, we had you check a red box. This is actually signing that you did understand. This is the contacts section. This is something that we have every year. We ask that you give us who to contact in the PSAP. This is just general. Who do you contact in the PSAP if we need to get a hold of someone in the PSAP for general purposes? The next contact is going to be like your 911 coordinator. We do need the 911 coordinator. We need someone who's going to be that person that we call for things like the population model. Who do we send those letters to? Who do we get in contact for if we need to get a hold of for GIS purposes or anything like that? So if you don't have a GIS or a 911 coordinator, who is the person that's performing that role? Who's the one that does that role, that is performing that skill, even if that's not their title, but they're the one that's acting as that person. So all the contact questions are very similar, if not the exact same question as last year. So all the contact questions are going to be the same. So you'll go through those and put those in. As far as the MSAG, go back.
Yeah, scroll back up real quick, Stacy. I just want to cover one quick thing. Because I was at a pizza a couple of weeks ago, you know, related back to this wireless routing sheet. So who is the person who receives, reviews, makes changes, or returns the wireless routing sheets for Contact, Verizon, and Toronto, T-Mobile? It's amazing that nobody knows. Nobody knows what a wireless routing sheet is. So if you have questions, like who, I have no idea what you're talking about. And also don't just make an assumption that the person that's doing the Master Street Address Guide, the MSAG, is also doing wireless routing sheets, which was the case in this situation. So if you have questions about what in the world are you talking about wireless routing sheets, reach out to us and let us know that. Don't just go straight to name and fill in a name. It's very important for this to be done, and it will cause routing issues with wireless calls to your PSAP. So if you have questions, holler at us. Stacy's email's right there, but don't just skip over it, just fill in a name. Make sure you know exactly who's supposed to be doing that duty. So thanks, Stacy.
Thank you. And the MSAG as well, if you don't know who is doing the MSAG, call us. We can help you figure it out. We can get you in touch with AT&T. They can look it up for you and find out who was the last person that is doing the MSAG. If that person is no longer there, we can get you in touch with them so that we can get you signed up so that somebody can be doing the MSAG. If you don't know what the MSAG is, or you need to find out, give us a call. We can talk it through. All of these are going to be contacts. And like I said, your 911 coordinator, your operations, all of these are going to be just contacts. So I want to go too fast and you give it a second. Your addressing contact, this is an important one. Michael is going to need to know this one, whoever is going to be your GIS contact, so he can get to the right person to the right job. He does our addressing, and he has a big long list of whoever does addressing, and it's helpful for him if he has the right person to get to the right person to the right person, so that whoever is doing the addressing can get their address, 911 addressing done correctly.
And also, there's a requirement now with our new rules that each PSAP in the state of Oklahoma has to attend our yearly GIS training. That could be a vendor that needs to go to that. So if you have a vendor, then that vendor needs to attend. You need to make sure to sign that. So we're going to be sending out information related to GIS training, along with addressing and everything else. You know, we send that stuff. We get emails every day with addressing questions from citizens. So, but just remember, there's some requirements out there for GIS that are in our rules. So make sure you fill this out. If you do have a vendor, let us know who that is. Thanks.
If you have questions about mapping this part of the questions, if you have questions about this, give us a call. We can talk to Michael and figure it out. Don't just, answer it. Give us a call. We can walk through it. Again, this is a question about the MSAG or the Master Street Address Guide. Don't just put in a name. Give us a call. We can figure it out. It's very simple to figure it out. So just contacts. This is going to be your first page. Going to the next page. This one, there's two questions here. They both will give you different answers to the next section. So if you don't know, give me a call and we can walk through which one is going to be your next step. If you are on site or off site, it depends on how things go for the next step for you. If you don't know which one is which, then we can walk through that. If you're unsure, let's walk through it together. Each one of these is going to give you different answer sets. So let's figure it out together. One is a little bit more lengthy than the other. If you have any interlocal agreements, If you uploaded them last year, you don't have to upload them this year. If you have new interlocal agreements this year, you need to upload them this year.
If you didn't upload last year, make sure you upload them. A lot of folks, I think, probably just skipped over this. It's pretty important. We mentioned this last year. We had situations where we have handshake agreements to provide dispatch services outside of your area with no interlocal agreement, or there's assumed there's an interlocal agreement, but there's not. And that causes problems. It causes problems across every political position in the county, or it could. So, if you have questions about local agreements or things like that, kind of dig into the details here. We want to put those on file and make sure we have records of those. That's actually part of state statute is for us to maintain records of these local agreements. So, but it's more for you. It's really for you to understand, what agreements are in place, what should I be doing, and putting your hands on those in order to, make sure you understand your operations and how things should be working.
I'm going to pause right there because that was a lot of information. If anybody has any questions.
Yeah, one more quick thing, Stacy. Just the way the system works, when you hit the next page button down there, that's when it kind of saves your data, your information. So if you fill this out and you don't hit next page and you leave and you come back tomorrow, then you're going to have to refill it out again. So in order to save your data or save your work, you've got to go to the next page. So just want to make sure that everybody's clear on that. Kind of unlike what you had before where, you work in it, you get out of it, you come back in, it was where you left off at. This is more of a, saves on the next page click. So I just want to make sure you're aware of it.
That's a good point. Does anybody have any questions so far?
If you do pop them in the chat, I'm monitoring the chat, so we can get to them. I'll raise your hand either one.
Staffing numbers are really important. Sometimes we have found that it's just numbers being put in there, which don't work. If you have questions on how to work the staffing numbers, give me a call. We can work through that. If you aren't sure or who is a staff member or who to calculate that staff member, because sometimes it's tricky, we can work through that. But this is your staff members and how we also calculate this for Virtual Academy. This goes straight into Virtual Academy and how we calculate that for classes. So this is used for more than one place. But this is your staff members and how pay or with 911 fees, the question down here. Does anybody have any questions on that? There have been questions before.
The only thing I could add, scroll back up real quick, Stacy. Very important, as Stacy mentioned, the full-time dispatchers that you have, call taker dispatchers that you have, is the number we use to allocate the number of logins that you get for Virtual Academy. Very important. Don't, obviously don't just make it up. It's what you have in budget to be fully staffed. That's the number we need there. And then a couple down below that is, how many do you have currently in position, fully trained, released, working on their own? Now, why is that important? Number one is we're feeding this information up to the federal government on shortages and staffing shortages. The other thing we're working on right now is a new project to do a social media campaign and possibly something on the primary news channels around Oklahoma. And this campaign will be for dispatch openings. So it's going to be basically a recruitment commercial per se, working on certain demographics and everything like that. We put information out on that. So we've started that project to some media companies that develop commercials, but they're asking us, what is the impact? How many positions are really open? The other thing that is very important to us is we're working with technology centers on a tech center curriculum that includes computer dispatch protocols. So it's above and beyond the 40-hour basic course that's required by law. So we're working through that. We need to capture how many vacancies do we have so we can help convince tech schools to be able to invest money into technology in order to support a training program that gets people prepared and ready to go to work for you. We have multiple tech centers that are out there that are ready to go. One prime example of that is Metro Tech in South Oklahoma City on South Bryant. They just opened up their new Oklahoma County 911 center. That's a live 911 center for Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office. And it has a training room built into the dispatch center. So please be accurate. Please, if you have questions, like Stacy said, holler at us. But this is a big deal for us. And we want to try to fill this gap, and we want to see this number be reduced over the next several years as we start pumping money into more training and more outreach. Thanks, Stacy.
Types of calls. We report types of calls. These it's just your types of calls that we've answered every year. Same questions. Nothing's changed here. It does go into a COOP plan. We did ask this last year. We've been pushing the COOP plan for probably about a year and a half. So we've talked about COOP plans outside of the audit, but inside the audit, we're asking not only do you have a COOP plan, but are you testing that COOP plan? Does your COOP plan include cyber? Does your COOP plan, is it practiced? Does your staff know about the COOP plan? Do you practice that COOP plan? Is it something that they're aware of? And not only that, but the COOP plan has a grant available for it. So I don't know if you're aware of that, but Karen would love to talk to you about COOP plans. So Karen's information is on the bottom here. You can contact her. She'd love to talk to you about it. And I'll get that grant for that COOP plan. And as I click next page, it's going to save everything that you've done since the beginning. So if you were to leave right now and click that link that you used initially that was in that email, that first email, and come back, everything that you've done up until now will be saved. Calls for service. These are the same questions. It's just a little bit different the way we're asking it. It's a drop down this year. So you have the opportunity to pick the drop down and choose which one is what the PSAP has. So same question, just a different way of using the question. Do you want to talk about calls for service? So calls for service, and you can apply at the beginning of the equipment. This is all about your PSAP equipment, reporting software, and I3 compliant, all the same questions from last year. There's a little bit of an anomaly in the audit. It has been changed, but for some reason it doesn't let you change it. So if you don't use protocols, pick one and just send me an email and say, hey, we don't use protocols, but I couldn't get past it. So I chose police or fire or EMS or all three, but we don't use protocols. And that will be noted.
Hey, Stacy, did you know that we have grant funding for protocols and it's 100% reimbursable?
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, if you have questions about protocols and want to put that, put those into your agency, let us know.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
You should definitely check that out.
wow.
So still going on equipment data. Again, this is the beginning of equipment. So next page, you're going to say what you've been working on. This is your call data. I have a lot of questions about how to get call data, how to get those call reports. If you're on AT&T, then you have eCats or Intrado, and you can call eCats or Intrado and have a call report given to you. It's a simple thing to do. If you don't know how to get a hold of eCats or Intrado, give me a call. I can give you their number. It's a simple just report. It's an Excel report. They'll send it over to you. If you have Motorola, I assume that they do the same thing. I don't know much about that report, but we can figure it out together. It's one thing to kind of guess the numbers, but it's easy to get a call report. So let's get that together and make sure you have the correct numbers for your call data report. This one is similar to the one we had last year. You put it in and it calculates your call data. Very simple. Numbers for transferred and admins are the same. Put those in. It doesn't add them up, but we don't add them up either. Those are just for our information purposes. And now we're at finance information, which is everybody's favorite part.
That's why I get to do this one. All right, so as you mentioned, there's a signature page there at the first of it for the financials, but we're going to go into expenses. So what you'll see on expenses, what is your total cost for operational personnel? So this is just not only dispatchers and call takers, and include benefits. We want to know what the total cost is for the personnel. So insurance benefit package, whatever that may be. We want a total cost during this particular time period. So every one of these, you're going to see this question about whether any 911 funds were used for this for operational cost or for the personnel cost. You're going to see this question. I'm not going to cover it on all of them. You're going to see this question below every one of these expenses. This is an FCC thing. The FCC wants to know how much did you spend any fee money to pay for operation or for personnel, and if you did, what was that price or what was that cost? So we asked this because the FCC asked us on every one of these items. So the next one is, what is your technical personnel costs? Now, this is where it's going to be a little bit different on this particular form compared to those that are not part of ACOG, SWOR, Payne County, and Woods County, and maybe others, but those are the ones we've identified. So those are, multiple PSAPs kind of in this that work together under a contract or under a trust. So we have a place now. If you fall within, one of these, ACOG, SWOR, Payne County, or Woods County, how much is the technical cost that trust or group has? So like ACOG's going to have their own cost for technical folks. So that would go there. But then below that is another line item. This is what you're going to see if you're not part of this, is what is your technical cost related back to 911. And a lot of folks would be like, well, I don't have any technical costs because we don't have a dedicated person. Well, somebody's doing it. You may have a contractor, or you may have a portion or a small portion of an IT group or an IT person that works for the city or the county that may be doing some work there. So try to figure out what that actual cost is. When you think about costs and you think about, why does the state need to know this? Well, because we increased our revenue for you, about $16 million injected into 911 at the local level starting in January 2024. Legislators are asking about that. They want to know, where's this money going and why did you need that and things like that. So we have to justify that to those folks that has raised that fee twice over the last 10-year period. So, be conscious of that, and please do your due diligence to fill these in the best you can and provide us with all the costs related to running your 911 center. The next is your telephone costs. So this is ACOG, SWOR, and Payne County, Woods County section. For what is the cost that they have to run the telecommunication system, and what is your cost to run that? So this very well could be a cost related to 911, and this could be a cost related to your 10-digit phone if you have a cost related to that. If if you're not part of the ACOG, SWOR, Payne County, Woods County, then you will fill this out and put all the costs related to 911 and any other telecommunication costs in this block. So moving along, what's your call to? Yes.
Me. So up there, would you want us to call out, like if I have Harper County's cost, do you want me to, because Woods County covers that, do you want me to put that total cost in like the top in Woods counties, or you want them all together and then Harper County will have it reflected of what it would cost for them, or
We need you to
do you
break
want
that.
me to?
Yeah, we need you to break out the cost
Yeah.
for Harper County in this block.
Okay.
So so we have to figure out a formula. We talked about formulas before and how you kind of break out what their cost would be. It could be trunk line based, call for service based, or something like that. But we need you to figure out what that would be and put in actual cost for Harper County.
Okay.
If you have questions like that, holler at us. So moving along, let's see, call taker equipment. So this is going to be your actual call taker equipment. So the previous one was kind of your connectivity, database costs, things like that. This is actually your CPE, your call taking equipment, your on-premise equipment you use for call taking. Some of this is subscription based now. A lot of it is like, look at Carbine and things like that. You're paying a subscription service to Carbine or to a hosted service. AT&T has some hosted services and things like that, and you're paying for that call taker equipment. Now, if you're an AT&T customer and you are on their hosted equipment, they may send you one bill for one cost for everything. We need you to break that out. So we need to know what the cost is for the telecommunication piece of that, the connectivity piece of that, et cetera, and how much of that is actually your call handling equipment costs. We need that broken out. What's the total cost of GIS services? So if you have a contract for GIS services, if you have a GIS person dedicated to you, things like that, we need to know what that cost is. So your local cost will go here, your shared costs will go up here, or your trust cost, or whatever you want to call those. Regional 911 cooperative cost, we'll call it that, Stacy. Good choice of words. So a lot of folks have moved over to to having a contract for one of the state providers to provide GIS. That's where that contract cost would go. Next is your computer aided dispatch cost. So what is your cost for computer aided dispatch? Your CAD system. What's your cost for your radio consoles, maintenance and support of the radio consoles, not your radio system. We don't need to know your computer costs and all that because that's not an approved expenditure for your 911 money. We just need to know what it costs to run the dispatch side of the radio system, radio consoles, et cetera. So this is going to be your maintenance on Mindshare. It's going to be your maintenance on any radio console that you may have that the dispatch center is using. What's your total cost for accounting and legal services? So if you're a trust, you're going to have that in here. If you're a municipality, probably be rolled into something else. If you can break that out, that's great. If you can't break it out, this is primarily used for those folks that have to report that out or have their own direct costs related to that. So this next section, a little bit complicated. So before we had the other costs, right? That's where we're at. Subscriptions, okay. So dues and subscriptions. So this is where you're going to put in. So right here, you're going to put in APCO, and you're going to put in NINA, and that's what you're going to write in this particular section. Then when you click on next page, what that's going to do is it's going to give you a couple of options, title, APCO, and NINA, where you can put the cost in. So it's a little different. You're creating your list here. So you're creating your list of optional dues and subscriptions with these open fields. Then when you hit the next button, it'll save your data like Stacy said, and then it's going to create, since I didn't put anything in there, it didn't create it, but it's going to create a list underneath this that says NINA, APCO, etc., where you can put your total cost in. So just be aware that when you put something in, and we're going to cover it again here in just a minute, but if I go back, this is where you put in the titles of your optional costs, and the next page is where you're going to put in the actual cost. So a little bit different. You create a list, and you fill in the cost for that list. So moving along, you got travel and meeting expenses. So any travel that you've done or meetings, if you travel to meetings and things like that, we'll put those costs there. What's your cost for training? So any cost training related, and again, this is broken out because we have costs related to training in the region. Then we have costs for training at your local level. So how much money did you spend on your dispatcher training? If you put 0 here and that is the accurate number, then shame on you. Naughty, naughty. Next is what is your total cost per vehicle? So vehicle maintenance. Again, this is ACOG's cost or Payne County's cost or Woods County's cost related to your PSAP. And this is where you would have vehicle costs for your 911 coordinator's vehicle, or if you're fancy like Weatherford, you get a retired police car that you get to use to drive around to different training events. Good for them. They've got a dedicated vehicle. That's where that cost would go. So moving back down here to this other one, again, this is your list of other things, OLEDs, uniforms, anything that you have an other cost on related to running your dispatch center, you're going to fill that out here. You're creating your list here. So this would be uniforms, this would be OLEDs, et cetera, et cetera. So you would fill those out, whatever those are. And when you hit the next button, it's going to give you the place to be able to fill that out. So you'll see that list right above the total, and it'll give you a box for every one of them that you've identified, so you can put those totals in there. Next is your total cost for, and this is going to be specifically for ACOG, so you're not going to see this on your individual ones unless you're part of a region, but administrative services, consulting services, and supplies. If you have supplies, put that into the other column. So you're going to have that list I said to create. You'll put supplies on there, and then that's where you'll fill that out. If you have a question, just yell it out. Or keep moving. So revenue. We are not asking you for your wireless revenue, your landline revenue, because before it was broken out, and last year it was kind of halfway broken out, and we went to this new funding model where it's all under one total revenue source from the Oklahoma Tax Commission. We can gather that from another source, so we don't need that for this purpose. So there's no need for you to go out to Tax Commission because there's no place to even put that in anymore. So we jumped straight ahead to your local revenue sources. The first local revenue source we're talking about is dedicated PSAP taxes or fees. So this is a dedicated local sales tax collection, or maybe an ad valorem tax, property tax collection, something like that, that you receive funding off of. And a lot of people may say, well, I don't get any of that. Well, I just found out again a couple of weeks ago that there is a revenue source that this local PSAP got from a county fire tax that actually calls out the 911 center in that fire tax, and they receive a portion of that. So it's a countywide fire, a tax for countywide fire service, but in that they call out the 911 dispatch center and they receive some funding from that. So that's where you're going to put that. That is a dedicated tax for the PSAP. So, do your research on that, understand your business model, understand where your money comes from, do your research. If you've got that dedicated tax, and that's where that would go. Contract services. So this is, let's say, an EMS contract. We've got a few of those around where EMS services are now paying dispatch. And like LaFleur County, for instance, they've got a dispatch agreement to provide dispatch services for EMS, and they provide them money every year, maybe on a monthly basis, but they provide them a cost for that contract services. So this, so next is, let's see, contract services and tools. The last one I'm going to cover here is grants. So if grants, donations, anything that you've received, from our grant program, that's where this would go. So if you receive revenue for this, that's where that would go. Obviously, if you received a grant, you're probably going to offset that with some form of an expense for new 911 equipment this year. So we want to see that. We want to see that Johnston County bought new 911 equipment that was $226,000. They received a grant for $186,000 to cover a portion of that. We need to see what those were. So if you receive grant dollars, you actually purchase new equipment, that's going to go in the proper blanks on the different form.
Be careful.
Oh, no, I didn't cover that. So when you get to the bottom of the financials, I can't go back now. When you get to the bottom of the financials, it's going to give you a warning that I did not read, and it's going to tell you, don't go any further unless you're sure that you're done. And so since I hit the next button, I was sure that I was done. So when you get to the bottom of the financials, breathe, take a breather, because when you hit next, it's going to submit everything that you had, and there's no way to go back. So just make sure that you're aware of that.
If you do decide that you're not done and you think, oh, I will need to go back and finish those 2 pages. Well, you can go back and finish those 2 pages, but you have to call me and say, I need a new link, and you'll have to start all over and do it again. So there is possible, it's just you have to start all over and do it again.
And it also will send you an email of everything that you filled out. So it's going to, the email that you put at the very beginning, it's going to submit an email back to you with your the information that you filled out for that report. I think that covers it.
Does anybody have any questions? Concerns?
See something in the chat here. Is the audit available? So I got a question in the chat. Is the audit available as a PDF doc? It would be helpful to view it all once and collect info out of order.
Unfortunately, no. There is not a way to do the PDF doc that I know of at this time. It may be a possibility, I just haven't figured that out yet. So I'm working on
And if it becomes available, we'll make sure we ship it out to everybody.
it. Yes.
Did I miss where we find the link to start it?
Yes, so there was, links went out on the 22nd. They sent an email out from myself saying, here's your link. If you need a new link, just email me and I can get you a new link.
Okay.
Can we get screenshots? Oh, that's a good idea. So she's asking, can we get screenshots of what's on there? So maybe that's a way we can.
Yeah, you can get, from today, you need screenshots.
No, she's saying, can we take screenshots and then send that out to them? Or you can take your own screenshots too if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And then be able to go back.
Yeah.
Just don't hit final done.
Just don't hit final done until you're really done.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's see, when and where will video be available so I can go back over?
I will have it up by the end of today.
And where are you going to post that at?
It will be up on our YouTube channel.
Yep, so we'll put it on our YouTube channel, and Stacey, can you send a link out to that YouTube channel to everybody?
I sure can.
All right. Next question. I did not see where we are supposed to upload our budget. I thought it said something towards the beginning that we needed to upload our current budget. I'll skip over that.
It should be in the finance section, but I will, if you email me and double check, I will send you a screenshot of where it is.
Next question. If EMS is paying for one of our dispatchers, can we include their salary and benefits in the contract revenue part? Yes. That would be considered contract weight. So it's yeah, absolutely. That would go under contract services because it just so happens that's the amount they're paying you. That's where that would go. Johnson County says, thank you. Need a link. Stacy, make sure and email Stacy. Email Stacy and let her know that you need that link resent.
Yep.
Looks like we got an okay. Wade Patterson said thank you. And Johnson County said thanks. Anything else? We appreciate it. We know this is, change is always great and wonderful. Everybody loves change. We moved to this platform because every time we made a change on our own platform, it was costing us $50,000 or more. This platform we're able to use for multiple different things, and we're able to have more kind of control over how it all works. Is it as good? We hope so. You know, on our side, less places for feedback and things like that. So there are some changes to that. But this whole platform costs us $7,000 a year, and we can use it for multiple things. So it's certainly a cost savings for us. And the cost savings for us means more money for your grant program, which means more money for you. So help us make it be the best product possible. If you have questions, holler at us. And checking just a little bit more for questions. Not seeing anything. Yay grants. Yeah, yay Karen, go grants. All right. We appreciate it. Hey, we're here to help. Holler at us if you have any questions. Look forward to seeing you next week if you're going to be at the Public Safety Conference.
I'll be there. Bring your questions if you have them. Happy to help.
Thank you.